We'll just come to our seated position on the mat. And let's just get comfortable here, bringing our attention to the breath, remembering our tall spine, and we're just going to spend a few seconds letting everything else kind of slip away and just try and become extra aware of our body and our breath. Maybe setting an intention or a goal for today's practice. And with that in mind, take a deep breath in, reaching the arms to the sky. And exhale, arms to your side. Placing your left hand on the mat, let's inhale, reaching the right hand over. And exhale that back down. Right hand comes to the mat. Inhale, reach the left hand over. And exhale that back down. If you normally sit cross-legged one way, let's switch the feet. And inhale the arms up. Exhale them forward in front of you. Because we often tend to sit cross-legged one direction, or we even do the same thing when we're like putting on our pants. We tend to put one leg in and then the other. We'll just hold this for a second. Hopefully feeling a stretch in whichever hip. And on the next breath, we'll slowly start walking our hands back up. All right, from here, let's place our hands on the mat. Swing those legs around into your tabletop position. And tabletop, we'll run through our cat-cow sequence, warming up the spine. Inhaling in cow, exhaling in cat. Following speed of your own breath. And coming to stillness. Let's, I think we've done this once or twice before. Let's take those hips in some circles. So just starting out really small, probably giving the hips some movement. Maybe starting to get bigger with your circles. And we'll switch directions. And start to bring that to the stillness. When you're here, we'll step back the right foot, tucking the toes and reaching, pushing through those toes for a good stretch in the calf. And drop that knee. We'll reach the left foot back. Dropping that knee. Let's reach the right foot back again. And switch. And we'll drop the left knee. Tuck both the toes and reach the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Can walk out your feet here if you want, dropping one heel and then the other. And let's reach that right foot to the sky and step it forward into a lunge. We'll drop the left knee, hang out in this little lunge for just a second. If you want to bring both your hands to the inside of that right leg, you can even walk out that right leg just a little bit. It changes the pose from more of a low lunge into a lizard. And here in lizard, you can drop onto your forearms if you're able, or just stay up on your hands. It's a really intense stretch. It's actually a prep pose for lotus pose, if any of you know that pose, where you're sitting cross-legged and your feet are like up on your hips. Wherever you're at, let's walk that right foot in just a little bit so it's closer to underneath our knee and our hip. And lifting the torso, we'll inhale the arms up to a slight back bend in crescent pose. Opening the chest and the heart here as well. And exhale those hands down. We'll straighten the right knee, bringing the hips back into a reverse lunge. And bending the right knee, coming back to our low lunge, we'll tuck the toes, lifting the left knee. into a higher lunge. Let's keep that right or that left hand on the mat. And inhale, reaching the right hand to the sky. If this works for you, great. If not, you're also welcome to keep both those hands on the mat. This is for a twisted lunge. Hopefully we're feeling a pretty deep stretch in that glute on the right side. And exhale that right hand down. Placing both hands on the mat, step back into our downward facing dog. From downward dog, we'll inhale, reaching that left leg to the sky. And step forward into a lunge, dropping that right knee into a low lunge. From here, welcome to stay in low lunge, or we'll bring both those hands to the inside of that left knee. Walk it out to the side just a little bit into a lizard. And once again, you're welcome to stay here on your hands or drop onto your forearms. Walk that left foot in just a little bit back to our low lunge position. Inhale, lifting the torso, reaching the hands to the sky, opening the heart and the chest in a crescent position. If you can, try dropping the shoulders even while your arms are up, just so they're not like hugged to your ears. And exhale those hands down to the mat. You're gonna bring the hips back, straightening the front leg into a reverse lunge. Hopefully you're feeling a pretty decent hamstring stretch here. And walking the hands forward, bending the left knee into that lunge again. We'll tuck the toes, lifting the back knee into our high lunge. If you want to, you can keep both your hands on the mat here, or you can place your right hand on the mat. Inhaling, left hand to the sky in a twisted lunge. And exhale that left hand back to the mat. And step back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll bend to the knees, dropping the the hips and the knees to the mat. Big toes together and drop the hips into child's pose. Let's walk our fingers to the right side. And back to center. And to the left side. And back to center. Slowly start walking our hands up to a tall spine. And here, try tucking those toes underneath of you. For a little stretch in our feet. We'll just be here for a second, not super long. And let's place our hands on the mat, just briefly swing those legs around to a seated position. We'll start with both our legs straight out in front of us. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, reach forward in a seated forward fold. Placing the hands on the shins, let's inhale to a seated half lift. Exhale, reaching down a little bit further. And on the next inhale, walk those hands back up. Bringing the right knee in. So the knee is bent, the foot's like in towards you. Take a deep inhale, reaching those arms to the sky. And exhale them over the left leg. And inhale back up to center. Switch legs. So right leg is reaching out in front of you. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, folding over the right leg. And inhale the torso back to center. Spread those legs wide out in front of you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, reach straight forward. And while we're here in the seated wide-legged forward fold, I'll let you just play around with this for a minute. So you might want to reach to one leg and then the other, or you can try walking your hands out in front of you a little bit further. You're welcome to try like bending one knee a little bit. Just play around with the position. Find what feels good to you, what needs to be stretched. And on the next inhale, we'll start to walk those hands back up to center. Bring both your legs in front of you. We'll bend the knees into a tented position and lower down onto our backs. All right, so here on our backs in the supine position, we'll first hug our right knee into the chest. And then reaching it to the sky, we'll hold on to the back of that right leg. Might want to do little ankle circles here. And bringing the right ankle to the left knee into a figure four position. We'll reach around that left hamstring, hugging it to your chest, hopefully feeling a pretty decent stretch in the right glute. If you have a strap or even like a towel or something, you're also welcome to use that to reach around that left leg. And on the exhale, release that left foot to the mat, keeping the legs in the figure four position they're in. Reach both hands out to the sides and drop the legs to the left side. And you want your gaze to turn to the right. Inhale, bring that up to center. Exhale, release that right foot to the mat, back in the tented position, and hug that left knee into chest. Reaching that left foot to the sky, we'll wrap our hands around the leg, maybe bringing the left foot some ankle circles. And bending the left knee, we'll bring that left ankle to the right knee, reaching around the right hamstring with your hands or strap or towel. Hug that into chest. Dropping the right foot to the mat, reaching your hands out to both sides. We'll let those legs fall to the left side, fall to the right side. to the left. Inhale out back to center. And exhale, release that left foot to the mat. From here, we'll lift both of our feet, reaching with our hands to grab the bottom of the foot or the big toes. And opening the hips here, you can rock side to side and happy baby pose. And then slowly start to straighten those legs up to the sky, reaching the feet to the sky, maybe bringing the hands underneath the hips. If you have a block, you're also welcome to put your block underneath the hips. For a little bit more of an inversion here in waterfall pose. Then we'll slowly release our hands from underneath our hips, bend the knees, dropping the feet to the mat. And maybe dropping the knees to the right or left side. We'll slowly use our hands to walk ourselves up to a seated position. All right, once we're comfortable here, let's inhale our arms reaching up to the sky. Exhale in the heart center. Thank you guys for coming this Wednesday morning and practicing with me. Namaste.